Okay. Mm.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make the announcement real quick right now. So everyone here right now, um, my name is Prathista. I'm the CSS MP organizer. So I just wanted to make a quick announcement that we sent out an email about that to specifically CSS MP members um, on Tuesday, I believe, and it should have been to your Outlook emails for basically it was just a quick just to let you guys know that we wanted to add you guys to a specific private um, channel on Discord so that you guys can communicate through that. If you guys haven't gotten that email, please check your spam and let me know if you have not gotten it, or let Sandra know. And basically just message me on Discord or on this chat with your Discord ID so that we can add you to the role so that you guys can view that chat. We're planning on doing a short kind of meeting sometime up to you guys. We're going to hold like a poll to see when you guys are all free and just get to know each other and then go from there. Uh, we've been making announcements on the channel, so if you guys aren't already part of it, make sure you guys reach out to us as soon as you can. And yeah, be on the lookout for that email. It should have been sent out earlier this week. We also mentioned it in the general email. It should be it should be in your Outlook email. So just keep an eye out for that, and try to get back to me as soon as possible with that as well. That is all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Marissa. And hello, everyone. My name is Tuan, and I'm the president for the CSS club on campus. And here, today we're gonna have farmer insurance recurring series, and basically we have Jennifer and Tom's. You guys want to go ahead and introduce one another? And start with Jennifer.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as well because I have a virtual contact card with my information as well. Let me see if they'll let me screen share.
All right.
Let me know if you guys can see that.
Yep, I think see it perfectly.
Perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to speaking with you guys today. My name is Jennifer. I'm an IT recruiter for farmers. I've been with the company about a year, but I've been in the recruiting and HR field for about 6 years with a focus in the IT and aerospace industry. And so one of my favorite things about working at Farmers is the culture, which I'm going to go into a little bit more detail during our call today. This is my contact card. On the bottom left, you'll see our different Instagram, like our handles for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We also have the Farmers website with the careers page. And then that QR code, if you scan that, that'll take you to our LinkedIn page as well. And Tom, if you want to, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm the head of cybersecurity for Farmers. I report to our chief information security officer. And so I run most of what we call cybersecurity operations at Farmers. I've got incident response, vulnerability and patch management, application security, cloud security, and I provide technical support for a number of other security functions at the company.
Okay, great. And so I had a video that I was going to share with you guys, but we tried it before the call today and it was a little bit glitchy. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to send it to Tuan and he'll share it with you guys. It's only about a minute or two, and it just goes, I think it's a really great highlight of our culture here at Farmers. So I'll just get right into it. So we're a Great Place to Work certified. So we have, as you can see, we've won a bunch of awards. And what I'm most proud of is our most recent award from Comparably. So we actually got number 10 of the companies with happiest employees in the whole U.S., which is excellent. So definitely the culture here is what, again, the work-life balance and the culture is the strong suit. This is some data I wanted to share with you guys. So on the left is a little infographic with 2019 info for our farmers community outreach. So in last year, we volunteered across 254 cities in the U.S., and we also donated $3 million to support disaster relief, which I think is excellent. This year, because of COVID, we've shifted all of our volunteering to virtual. So we still are helping out and our missions and that, but are just online. And also sometimes they'll ship us like equipment or packages to put together for release kits, which is really cool. Diversity and inclusion has always been a really big part of the culture at Farmers. I myself am part of the Farmers Fit. So before it was all in person, we had like Zumba classes, yoga classes, but now it's all online, which is great, helping me keep in shape with COVID as we stay indoors. We've also got some other groups. I'll just name a few: the Black Professionals Alliance, the Disability Inclusion Group. We've got Women's Inclusion Network, and which is great. We're always trying to get more women in STEM. From the business side, I wanted to emphasize our University of Farmers. We offer online courses that help, career progression and development. So you can learn all kinds of skills. And then on the bottom right, and we also offer tuition assistance to employees. And on the bottom right is the locations and the number of employees by location, although this year we are working remotely until the end of the year. Just wanted to share this info with you guys. And then this is our IT group, the different lines of business, different areas. We have the IT infrastructure operations, which consists of network, production support, supplier operations, delivery, and client services, which is like the help desk and also the document services and logistics team. We have the Chief Information Security Office, which Tom is from, which focuses on cybersecurity, identity, governance, risk, and compliance. We have the Office of the CIO, which is IT Finance, our iLab. So what our iLab is actually it's in our Woodland Hills campus. We have an interactive room with like whiteboards for brainstorming sessions. It's really, really cool. And that video I mentioned earlier also shows a little glimpse of the iLab. The Office of the CIO also has the SAP and also the asset management team. Then we have our Chief Data Office, which provides, enterprise data and business intelligence and analytics. And then the application development team oversees application development across IT. Perfect. Did you guys have any questions for anything on these items?
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just feel free to put in the chat, or you can unmute and talk through it. All right. And so far, I think it's really interesting seeing all different aspects of IT and like the computer science side that a company this big has to offer.
Yeah, thank you. And so actually that picture too I wanted to highlight is our virtual reality in Woodland Hills, the campus there. So I actually got to try it out earlier this year. It's for our claims to do test runs in the field. It's really cool. Just wanted to mention that. Yeah. And so at this point, I'm going to let Tom take over and just go a little bit about his experience at Farmers and kind of what his line of business does and his team and how they work.
Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, so prior to Farmers, I used to work for the federal government doing intelligence and national security work. And so Farmers was actually my first real job after that. And I have to say that I'm one of those happy employees that Jennifer was just talking about. It's a great place to work. We used to joke when I worked in federal government, we used to call it Fight Club because it was a pretty tough place to work. Lots of very aggressive type A personalities. And so when I first got to Farmers 5 years ago, I was a little suspicious of how nice everybody was. And 5 years later, I can tell you it's not an act. People are very nice. I'm not going to say that we don't have a tough conversation every once in a while and that we don't push really hard to keep the company competitive. But the professionalism and just the good spirit I've encountered all 5 years has really been a refreshing change of pace for me in my post-government career. I would say also the diversity of cultures and backgrounds and experience too makes it a really fun place to work. And it's also a very welcoming place to work. I would say that the nature of our IT work is also makes it a really fun place to work. Farmers is in a very competitive industry, insurance. And so we've got to run really hard to keep up with our competitors out there. And so IT has to enable that competition. We have to make life easier for our customers, our agents, and our employees so that IT is either transparent or frictionless for them as they do their work. The worst thing in the world for me is when a customer can't get their questions answered or can't do what they want because our interfaces aren't easy enough to work with. And so we're constantly getting feedback from our customers and then bringing that into our planning and development process to try and eliminate that friction. And the nice thing too is that, leading the security team, that security is there every step of the way. We get brought in at the outset of every initiative to make sure that they're making the right decisions to protect those same customers, agents, and employees from all the threats out there. It's a really dangerous world out there. And so we have to make sure that that security is there all the time, that we're enforcing the right standards, that we're putting the right tools in place. And also that, when we do apply security, we take every step possible to make that as frictionless as possible for folks when they do their work. I would say also one of the great things about Farmers is the training and development culture there. As Jennifer mentioned, there is tuition assistance, but we also encourage our employees to get certified in their particular fields, and we reimburse not only the training for those certifications, but we also give bonuses to employees when they get certifications that are relevant to their field. And we also give bonuses for certifications that are not exactly in your field. For example, Farmers, like many American companies, is racing to the cloud. And so even though cloud might not be your primary job, you need to understand the cloud, you need to understand the security requirements of going to the cloud. And so we're encouraging our employees to get those basic AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud certifications so that are not only able to leverage those great opportunities, but also to do it securely. I would say it's probably my main points. Jennifer, anything else you want me to cover?
No, that's good. So I was going to go over some other things as well, some frequently asked questions. So right now, we currently don't have our internships posted online, but there will be some coming from starting in October all the way to spring. We'll be posting them. Typically, the internship runs about 10 to 12 weeks. It'll be 40 hours full-time positions. And then at the end, you get to present to the business some new ideas. And we actually use some of those ideas we incorporate those at the end, which is pretty cool. I got to watch last year's presentations, and it was really fascinating with ideas that the interns came up with. Let me see. So who's eligible? Basically, you can submit an application if you're an undergraduate or graduate student. So that includes rising juniors and seniors that are eligible to work full-time within 12 months is preferred. And then, so skills that we typically look for, we're looking for people who are passionate, hardworking, with a desire to learn, who are innovative and curious, and organized thinkers. And so typically the recruiting process, depending on the role you apply to, there's usually an initial screening with the recruiter. And if selected to move forward, you'll either have 1 to 2 interviews with a hiring manager after that. And again, we have several openings in our IT department as well that are, if you're not looking for an internship, that are full-time, that could be more entry-level. So I'll share the careers link with you guys. And like I said, if you don't see something today, check back in a day or two because we have new postings in IT pretty frequently. Yeah. And then one question we get a lot too is in regards to sponsorship or OPT or F1 citizenship eligibility. We do consider sponsorship for some of our roles, but it's typically determined by specific needs. So those were kind of the main things I wanted to go over. I also wanted to say if you have a moment to sign up for our Farmers Talent Community. So what that is, it's a network, and you provide your name and your email, and it gives you updates whenever there's new positions. So like you might not be able to check the website constantly. So if you get an email, it'll just say, whatever you're looking for, that will kind of like a little alert notification, which would be really cool. And I think that helps to kind of keep on that as well. Perfect. Did you guys have any questions for us about our positions or anything like that?
I mean, my first questions would be, what are some sort of fun projects that some of the interns did, or what is, or I guess in general, what kind of project can you talk about that is related to a little bit into the IT or computer science field?
Sure. And one thing too that I like to point out is that for a lot of the interns, we have them working on real world situations. They're working on real projects with the team, collaborating. So there are some that are just like in practice and theoretical, but then there's also some roles that they are working on things that we incorporate into our day-to-day, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, we pay our interns, and so we want some return on investment. And so there's an emphasis on giving the interns projects where they can actually deliver some value back to the company during their time there. And that's a challenge sometimes, finding a piece of a project that they can get done during their internship. But I've seen some really great projects that we've given our interns and some really great outcomes. And it's also, you know, it's a shame, you know, you don't get that in the age of the plague, but it's fun when the interns come on campus. It's you know, fun to have fresh faces around and see that energy and that enthusiasm.
I see. So I mean, my question was the kind of projects that you can talk about that are kind of like, because I know in the video there were some. So right in this picture, there's some VR projects that you guys are doing. Can you talk a little bit more about that in terms of that?
Yeah, I can give you a few examples. So on the security team, we had an intern last year, and we were implementing a new security tool. And so we oftentimes have to work closely with the business units to test the tool and make sure it doesn't interrupt the operations of our applications and our infrastructure. And so we asked the intern to drive coordination with several of the business units and help them coordinate that process. And so it was a great experience for him. He got to sort of learn how the tool worked. He got to see how things work in some of our business units. And so I think it was a really good experience for him.
I see. Cool. So Jennifer, I think you were mentioning that you were going through this the VR thing, right? Can you talk a little bit more specific your experiences about that?
Sure. So we have our campus in Woodland Hills. Obviously, right now we're working remotely, but it's 2 11-story buildings. So one whole floor is for like this, like our new technology. So we've got the iLab there, which I mentioned, which is like a whiteboard for brainstorming sessions, which is really cool. And then we've got the virtual reality as well. So they had a demo. What you can do is you put on the goggles and the little, you know, hand things, and you can test out, like, say, someone's going to a home visit, an agent, and for a claim, and they're, you know, inspecting it to see, is there a leak? Where's the source of the leak? What, you know, how big is the size of the water leakage, or like, where's it coming from? So it goes over common scenarios that could come up in every day. And so you kind of are in like a room or in a kitchen or in a garage, and you're kind of looking for these different things. And it's pretty cool. It's like a little mini game, but it's a way that we've been training our claims reps, which I think is really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, right now, Tuan, we actually have a University of Farmers it's a big warehouse with examples of pieces of houses, pieces of boats, and cars that have had basically insurance claims, and it shows the inspectors how to understand the damage, understand what might be required to fix it, and also to spot signs of fraud, because, you know, there are some bad people out there that do commit fraud every once in a while. And so the problem is, you know, we've got claims inspectors all over the country, and it's both an inconvenience to them and an expense to us to bring them all into that training center. And so the idea was, we still want to do that where we can, because getting that hands-on training is really good with actual physical objects, but it's good to be able to provide virtual training for specific scenarios and maybe refresher training through a virtual environment to show them, let them walk through that house and see the water damage and show them, like, okay, this is what it looks like when it's real. This is what it looks like when someone's actually committed fraud, things like that.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I think to add on to that, I think there's a lot of like ideas that you can build around VR, and I think those projects are really fun for all of us, you know, because I feel really excited, you know, trying to build all those fun things as some way to building something that can help the business, right? Like you said, you know, solving the real life you know, problems. So adding on to that, I want to ask, what are some of your thoughts on, because I think you mentioned before, cloud was going to be a big thing in the cybersecurity, or I guess in terms of technology in general. What is your thought, or have Farmer Insurance done any initiative on moving on to the cloud, or the like? So.
Oh yeah, we are sprinting towards the cloud. So we have a pretty large on-premise environment right now with a couple of data centers around the country, but those are awfully expensive to maintain, and they're also very difficult to maintain as well. And so the value to go into the cloud is very clear to us. We just have to do it securely and safely. And when I say safely, we have to do it so that it doesn't disrupt operations. And so we have a deliberate migration plan to move as much of our infrastructure and applications and data that we can to the cloud. And so we're adopting a multi-cloud strategy. And so we're not just picking one vendor. So we've got enterprise environments with AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, GCP. And so it's important for us to make sure that we set that up. I keep using that word frictionless, but that's really important to us, so that farmers, businesses, and farmers' lines of business in IT can just spin up an instance in AWS without needing any support from our infrastructure team. But we also want to put strong guardrails on that so that they can't basically open up an EC2 instance in AWS to the world and expose our sensitive data. And so the great thing about those cloud environments is it lets you build automated tools to prevent folks from making mistakes in that environment. But it's an exciting time. We're all learning a lot. I think there's not a lot of cloud expertise out there because a lot of companies are going to the cloud in a hurry. And so we're learning as we go, and it's fun.
I see. Yeah, it's very exciting. And like for our students, we're looking for like internships and experiences. So what kind of advices do you have for our students who might be looking to like cybersecurity field, or basically what do you look for in a candidate?
Sure. Yeah. Well, certainly we look for good academic preparation, and Cal Poly Pomona certainly qualifies for good preparation. So you've got that going for you. But after that, we're also looking for, as Jennifer said, that passion and that curiosity. And so, we want to see things, like participating in your CSS group, the things you're doing in your spare time. We love to see coding experience and a passion for coding. Even if it's not the language we need for a particular project, to know that you know how to code and build that logic means that you'll be able to probably adapt those skills to other languages and other platforms.
Yeah, and I can add on to that as well. So, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jennifer. So, I would say, and just a passion for a piece of the field too. When we get folks interviewing for roles in the security team, I'd like to see that they're keeping up on current events. There's a lot going on out in the world. So knowing a lot about, recent security breaches and security threats is important. If you want to work in data, looking to see what's happening in the industry, who the industry leading vendors are and sort of the innovations they're bringing to the field. We don't expect you to be experts, right? You're just getting started with your careers, but clear signs of that curiosity. I also like to see when folks come to apply for a job at Farmers that they've done a bit of research on the company and they understand what they're walking into. I don't expect anybody to be an expert, but I want to see that curiosity and that passion.
I see.
Yeah,
and Jennifer, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I'd agree with what Tom said. I'd also say, like you said, following our experts on LinkedIn and following those pages and staying informed is really important. Having specific examples that you can discuss the projects in class that you worked on and what your roles were, and how you assisted, or even outside of school, what kind of side passion projects that you've worked on, any things you've gotten off the ground. That willingness to learn or initiative taking is really key. And any certifications or anything that you learn about too is great to put on there. I know there's a lot of options for getting additional certifications. I think Google's even launching, if I'm not mistaken, a new certification program that's going to launch, I think next year, if I'm not mistaken, or late this year maybe, but that offers really easy ways to get those. So definitely that kind of information is great.
I see. And so I think Jennifer, you're a recruiter, right? And so I want to just ask for your experience. So when you look at all these people's resume, so what kind of like can you name a few projects that catch your eyes, or let's say, here's someone is putting in passions and here's someone we can bring into the company. So can you just give us a little bit more thoughts on what you think?
Sure, and it really depends on the position and what area of focus it is. For example, if I have an application developer role that I'm looking for, that I want to see not only maybe in school they worked on a project where they were working with a team and doing that, but maybe outside of school they tried launching an app, or they tried putting together this to put it on the marketplace, on the app store, trying to do those kind of things, taking initiative, or having samples where they can show me, like send links to samples of their work. That's always really good and informative. Or a website that they can create themselves that showcases their different, again, the samples and all the different things they've worked on. That's always really good to have. Like then I can share that with the hiring team as well. They take a look at that link. They see all the different samples of work that you've done. So that's also something that puts you a step above others.
I see, and I think Tom can also add to this too, because I think you would also, I think you would some of the time you would be looking at someone, and what stand out the most for you, Tom?
Yeah, like Jennifer said, those passion projects. I love to see when somebody has built their own home network, and they've got maybe virtual servers and things like that they're playing with at home, and they've actually gone through the experience of building a network and then securing it, or somebody that's built out an environment in AWS, things like that. I know those things can be expensive, both in terms of hardware and paying for services in AWS, but so maybe you don't have the resources to maintain it all the time, but showing that you've built something like that and you know how to set it up securely or set it up so that it works. And as Jennifer said, someone's actually built an app, especially from scratch. That's really impressive. And having something you can actually show your work on that is really cool.
I see. Okay. So I hope that gives some insight to our students. I think, that gives a lot of insight to our students about, what can a recruiter expect from candidates. And so, just a little bit more on the internships or the full-time positions. So right now, what are some locations for the IT intern positions, we say, Jennifer?
Sure. So actually, they're most likely going to be virtual for next summer. We did it virtually last summer, and it was actually pretty successful. But if for whatever reason, the stay-at-home orders are lifted and it is safe to return, then Woodland Hills is our corporate headquarters. So we have some there. We have Caledonia, Michigan, Independence, Ohio, Oklahoma City. I would say those are our primary IT locations. Am I forgetting any, Tom? That sounds about right.
No. That's all of them.
Yeah. So that's where our main ones are out of. And this popped into my head, but remember last year I had attended the presentations where they went over ideas and suggestions for the company. That really stood out to me. Like one of them that stood out was maybe offering like pandemic insurance. That's not something that we would have thought of or considered previously, but who knows, right? Maybe that's something that we can start incorporating. And it had all kinds of new ideas, fresh perspectives that we enjoy hearing, and they make a big difference. They can really impact, how we work. So.
Yeah, but in terms of LA locations, all the roles are in Woodland Hills in the Valley. And maybe sometime soon we'll be able to go back to the office, but that issue of work from home circles back to the culture at Farmers. I was really impressed at how important it was to the company to protect the employees, and how early in the epidemic they sent us all home. But it was also really fun to watch how easy it was for us all to work from home. We put a lot of technology in place over the years that allowed us to make that pivot. We had a pretty generous sort of work from home flexibility before the epidemic, so we had the technology in place to allow folks to work securely and collaboratively from home. But we went from about an average of 5 to 10% of employees working from home to close to 99% over the course of a couple of weeks. And so I'm happy to say it was pretty frictionless and worked really well. We've got some folks like our print plant and our mail room and our loading dock folks that still have to go into the office, but they put some great protections in place to take care of them. But for the rest of us that are working from home, we've got all the tools we need, and it's gone really well.
Yeah, I would agree with Tom. So when I first started, we were basically paperless in the office in Woodland Hills. So working from home was we just brought our computers home. It was an easier transition than I would have expected, which is great. That's why I love working here.
I see. Okay, so I want to go back to the questions of the company's culture, because I think, as Tom said before, you're one of the fields that is, the happiest in the company, perhaps. So I just want to touch on that. Like, what kind of what's the fun things about working in farmer insurance that you, Jennifer, or Tom, you guys loved about the most?
There's so many things, I don't know where to start. So
should I start, Jennifer?
Yeah,
go ahead.
This is one.
Yeah, so we've adopted the agile development process at Farmers over the last 2 years, and the meetings and the collaboration that happen with our program increment planning is really fun. We used to do it in an auditorium at Farmers before the epidemic, and now we do it virtually. And it's just kind of fun getting everybody together and problem solving together. They bring security and application development and the infrastructure teams all together, and then we all basically hack away and try and solve a problem. Say, for example, we get a comment in the feedback from our customers. They don't like an aspect of the user interface, and so we all get together and figure, okay, like, why is that there? Do we need that there? How can we basically eliminate that friction? And it's fun being the security guy, because sometimes we can help help them solve their problems with our tools.
Yeah, definitely. And that actually transitions really well into my next slide. So I was going to do a plug for our Instagram page. This gives a really good insight into our culture, the different programs we have, the different fun things we do. So this is a really great way to see what kind of stuff we're up to every day. So again, and this is a QR code, as you guys can see, to scan and follow the Instagram page. So basically, you were asking about what things we love about working here. So there's one of the things that we have Workplace, which is kind of like a Facebook, but for work. And so it's where people share all the different projects they're working on. There's different groups, like our employee resource groups are on there. And it's like a really strong community that you can post information and share information with each other. And I think it's a great resource and a way to stay connected. Our head, Jeff Daly, will post videos on there that promotes transparent communication. So he's always updating us on everything, which is excellent. We have volunteering, which we show a volunteering, and we have different days where we highlight different issues. Like, I think today is Purple Thursday to promote, so we were wearing purple, except for me, I'm in a farmer's polo because of the virtual career fair today, but to promote issues with those with domestic violence, and I wanted to support those who need assistance. So we have different days, we're green today to support mental health. So I think that's a really great tool in the workplace that really helps everybody stay connected. We have our volunteering, which is excellent. They recently launched something called Missions. So what it is, it's small virtual things that little tasks you can sign up to do to help with COVID. So like maybe giving a call to someone who's elderly to kind of make their day or to help them cheer them up, or checking in on somebody, or different. It has little like missions or tasks that you can do to help support and make the whole situation better, which I just think promotes such positivity, and I really love that.
Nice.
And I always just see people posting on Workplace as well, just personal photos they post of our flexibility. If you're a parent and you need a flexible schedule, we've been able to accommodate that. So making the work hours, because I know a lot of parents right now have children who are joining Zoom calls for school or things like that. So, just having a flexible schedule so that they can, take an hour or two to get their child online and get through the Zoom call or class or whatever, and then continue working. So we're really adaptable, which I think is fantastic. Like, the flexibility is amazing. But yeah, I really recommend checking out This Is Farmers. I sometimes there's so much good stuff I don't even know where to start. This helps summarize it. As well as, I get the Service Anniversary Award emails with, okay, this person's been here X number of years at Farmers. And the list of names in the longer categories, like 20, 30, 40 years, is sometimes bigger than the list of names in the 1 to 5 years, which always impresses me. Like, I joke this is the best kept secret because people don't leave. Like, people want to stay. They want to grow with the company. And we do offer a lot of options for growth as well. We have our Employee First initiative right now. So what that is we want to put employees first. So anytime there's an IT opening, we only post it internally for the first 2 weeks to give internal employees a chance to review the posting, and if they're interested, apply and interview. And then after that point, if nobody's selected or they're not interested, then we open it up to the external world and entertain additional candidates. And I think that's really a testament to the culture at Farmers as well, that we want to make sure, to offer employees that growth option and to give them the opportunities first before, opening it up to bringing someone up from the outside. But I could go on and on, but definitely a lot of the good things for sure.
I see, and I think I'm really interested in the growth opportunity at Farmer Insurance. So, can you tell us a little bit more about how? So, let's say, for example, if you get as an intern, right? What are your chances of getting accepted into to a full-time positions, or how would you move up the ladder from a full-time positions into something, like I guess a manager or yeah, so it's like growth opportunities in general.
Sure. Again, it's case by case for each position, manager, team, etc. But like I'm actually working on an offer right now for an intern that we extended past. I mean, it's now what month are we in? October, and it was supposed to end in like July or August, and we kept extending the internship, and now we're actually making an offer to bring that person on as a full-time employee. So I see that. I don't have a percentage or anything, but I see it pretty commonly. So, we definitely want to bring, if someone is available and not returning to school, maybe if they're like a junior, then it might not work out. But if somebody's looking for something that's full-time, and we have the option, it works out, then we definitely want to move forward with that and give people the chance to come on board.
I see. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. Right now, I don't have any questions in mind, although I really love your presentations, and I love like all the opportunity that Farmer Insurance is offering. And I love that, we don't have any internships position posted right now, but you're telling us early so we can just hunt for it. It's great.
Yeah, and for IT, they'll be coming. They'll be posted shortly, I'm sure. Yeah. Did anyone have any questions on anything over the culture or, best practices or IT or anything, organization? Nope.
All right.
Okay.
So.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so if nobody has any questions, then I will. Oh, Keenan is here. Anyway, yeah, if nobody has any questions, then we'll close the meeting off. And thank you so much, Jennifer and Tom, for having us. And we're excited to for our students to apply.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and I look forward to crossing paths with you all in the future.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.